Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
So again, we'd like to welcome everyone today for the Sunday Love Feast. Our time is a little short, so if we have any new guests coming the first time, please raise your hand so we can recognize. If you're first time coming, please raise your hand. Let's welcome all of our new guests. Thank you all very much. And as I mentioned earlier, we're very fortunate today that although it's very difficult for Maharaj to travel as much as he still does, but he always finds some time to come here to New Panihati Dham. And it reminds me of when he had a very serious injury many years ago, and he was in London, and he called me here in Atlanta, and he just said, with tears in his eyes, he said, I just want to come to my home in Atlanta. Haribo! So we want to welcome him to his home, as I mentioned before. I'm not sure, someone can correct me if necessary, but the deities here, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan, throughout the whole world of ISKCON, I'm not sure how many Radha Krishna deities Maharaj installed, but I know here in Atlanta, he installed the deities here. How many? Siliguri. So maybe just one other in the whole world. And the main ISKCON temple. This is one of the main original ISKCON temples, and we have the great distinction that Maharaj personally came, personally organized, personally raised the money to install Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan in 1986. So let's give him our great appreciation. And more, so many things he's done. He inspired so much book distribution here and preaching and making devotees and helping to maintain all of our enthusiasm for serving Srila Prabhupada's mission. He's very, very focused on Srila Prabhupada's mission. So even in his physically difficult situation, it's almost like when you read the Bhagavatam and it says that ahaitukya pratiyata, without any motivation or anything, nothing stops a sincere devotee from doing his service. So he's a prime example of that. How you can serve Krishna in spite of any circumstance. So we have no excuse. When it comes to serving Krishna, we can do it in any condition. So I firmly feel as a humble godbrother of Maharaj that he's giving all of us that example. How to serve Prabhupada in spite of any situation in life. So we're very, very indebted to him. Very thankful to him for his more than 30 years of service here in Atlanta and more than 40-something years of service in the ISKCON movement for Srila Prabhupada. So let's give him a wonderful welcome back home.
Hare.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Vadidam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Sri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamane.
Lord Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Hare. Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Goradita Jaya Goradita, Jaya Goradita Jaya Goradita. Nita Gora Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo.
God wrote to our channel, Mangulangaya Tegaram, Yat Kita Dhavan Mande, Sigaram Nirthainam, Paramananda Madhavam, Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram, Hariyam Tat Sat. Maharaj Guru, who was a vice president when I first came here, later he became soon after the president, and he was president for all my time here. And which now we have Vedas Parvo. So we're very grateful that we can come back to the London Temple. But my dear godbrother, Father Prabhu, he said that it's difficult for me to travel again, so many things. But actually, I heard that Prabhupada in 1967, I joined in 68, so this was the far view devotee.
Everyone can understand what he's saying?
Since left half of my face is paralyzed, so I cannot speak completely normal. They may have difficulty understanding what I say.
No problem.
If anyone does, someone who knows used to my speech, he could repeat in ordinary English. How many need?
Preach on.
Mahalo.
Hare Krishna.
Hindi bolunga. Español. So, Prabhupada in 1967, he was paralyzed from the neck down with a cerebral stroke. And still he told his secretary, I don't want to stay in the hospital. No doctor would release him because, paralyzed patient, they don't release you. So he was stuck out from the back door. And there, instead of resting, when they sponged him, when they changed his clothes, he was preaching to them, telling them about the purpose of life, telling them about Krishna, how to practice devotional service. So, Prabhupada loved to say, you move both hands, move both feet. No comparison. Paralyzed, he was paralyzed the neck down. So, if I can do any service to him, I'm very, very honored. And I'm very happy to see so many people here. So what's I think on tonight? You see, Prabhupada had named this place as New Panihati Dham. Panihati is one of the places where Lord Caitanya, he said he would stay eternally. And so this is New Panihati Dham. It's also down. But here, if you want Lord Caitanya to be here, we have to chant his own name and render him devotional service. Haribo. You see, Lord Caitanya Nityananda, they're the Lord, but they came down with the end to experiencing what it's like to be a devotee. You have be the Lord. You have a different perspective. And they saw, well, the devotees are very happy by worshiping me. So let's see what it's like to be a devotee. Now, if you're a God, you can do anything, so that's no big deal. He and Lord Caitanya, Nityananda, and Lord Caitanya, they came down in disguise as devotees. Of course, since Advaita Acharya had prayed and let Krishna come down and give out pure love of Krishna, the Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu. In accordance with the Vedas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has unlimited forms, and some of those forms are for the material world, extending all the universes, also giving birth to the Creator, who is a subordinate Lord. You can become a creator of the universe by being a very holy person. You can be elevated to that status if you want. He's called Brahma. So, and that the Mormons believe that if you don't know what they believe, that's really keep pushing them. But ultimately they believe that they don't know if there's a Supreme God. They know in every universe there's a Creator. And they say that he has the son he has a son which is called Jesus. That's their belief. Now, we know that there's a Supreme Personality Godhead above these creators of the universe. And so Lord Caitanya is a very rare incarnation of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Because Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead, he comes once in a day of Brahma. A day of Brahma is about 4,300,000 years. And he has an equally long night. He has 30 days for 12 months a year. He lives for about 100 years. You can calculate his life. So Krishna comes every day once. And sometimes after Krishna, sometimes Krishna comes as Gauranga. And Balaram comes as Nityananda. So when they come, they teach us how to serve the Lord by their personal example. Just like a teacher in school, he or she may take a chalk and go to the blackboard and start writing. So like that, the Lord, He shows how to serve Himself. Because we're so thick-headed. Although He told us to do it like this, we don't really understand. Oh, it's really? But He'll show us. You do like this, and you get supreme, unlimited happiness. And now, that I've spoken for some time, who needs a repetition? Does anyone need a repetition? A repetition?
No?
Is he a shy or are you actually understanding?
Vijay!
So, you see, Krishna consciousness, His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who brought Krishna consciousness to the West. He described it as a postgraduate for all the religions of the world. You find in religions, generally, God is great. Allah Akbar. Or you should love God. You should have great love for the Lord. But how to awaken that love? How is God great? And all the unlimited millions of universes. We look at this guy, we see billions and millions of stars and planets and so on. But this is just one of the universes. There are Ananta Koti Brahmanda. There are unlimited millions of universes like this. And the Saita Sandhya Upanishad describes that Chaitanas Chaitananam Nityas Nityanam Akalodam Viradatakamam, that amongst all the conscious entities, there's one Supreme Conscious. Amongst all the entities that are eternal, there's one Supreme Eternal. That one, He feeds, He supplies the needs of all others. Akal Rodam Viradatakamam. So, there's a difference. The concept of God and concept of absolute truth. in the concept of God, you may say, well, a person has most power. Like, if they have a state representative, and more powerful than him is a state senator, and more powerful than the state senator is the national representative, and more powerful is the state senator, and most powerful in the state is the governor, but more powerful is the president. We don't say the president has all power. He has some powers. He's the most powerful man there. But he doesn't have all the power. Absolute truth means, God means who has more power. But absolute truth, it means he has all power. But this is a fraction of his energy. He expands all these unlimited universes. The fraction of himself, he does that. That's how great he is. And he has a personal relationship. He's in the heart of every one of you. And therefore, he can have a personal relationship with everyone. And so we're here in the material world. We're fallen souls. This place is just 1/4 of the total energy. And this place means that somehow we have chosen to experience life without him. It's not possible. He creates this illusion by Mahamaya. We think that he's not here. You don't see him. You apply your intelligence like Einstein. He applied. He thought everything is so ordered. Everything is so systematic that without some intelligence behind it, it's not possible. Just to clean up your garbage, there's a whole city, municipality, government, and supply your water, turn on the lights at night, turn them off in the morning. But, these things they seem to happen automatically. But you know that they're happening. Yes, there's something behind. Similarly, our planet is designed in such a way that now it's like summer in Argentina, winter in Stockholm, and here is winter, but we're not so that low. So, how the planet shifts, how the seasons last, all these things, there's a little adjustment the wrong way. You have one half of the planet all cold all the time, one half always hot. But no, it shifts. So, there's actually an intelligence behind the whole universe, all the universes. So, Lord Caitanya came to teach us how to render Bhakti Yoga. There are different kinds of yoga to connect with the Absolute Truth. There's Jnana Yoga, which is the yoga where one speculates and endeavors to use the brain to figure out what is eternal and what is temporary. So by this process, one comes to a conclusion that Absolute Truth is impersonal. It's a light, it's a force, something like that. Then there's Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, which the sitting process is very popular in the West. But it goes way beyond that. One starts to meditate on the Atma, on the soul, and can realize the Super Soul, the presence of the Supreme Person in your heart. By this, one gets a partial realization of that the truth. He sees as a light, he also sees it localized. But the process of Bhakti Yoga is to render loving service to the Supreme Lord, to chant His names, and so on. There's 9 processes of Bhakti Yoga: hearing, chanting, remembering, praying, worshipping deities, rendering service, considering oneself a servitor of the Lord, and considering oneself a friend or be a friend of the Lord, and surrendering everything. So this is called the 9 processes of Bhakti Yoga. So by this process of Bhakti Yoga, one can realize the Supreme Person of Godhead as the person, also the light, also the all, the race of the aspect. So this process of Bhakti Yoga is a postgraduate process for all religions. You don't have to, you can read, let's say that our Prabhupada, he respected Lord Jesus, that he was our Guru. We should respect his teaching, we should respect his preaching, we should respect him. And similarly, all the major religions, he had some appreciation. And so he never converts people in the common sense that you have to give up your beliefs. Rather you build on them and you practice Bhakti Yoga. And so some basic rudiments of Bhakti Yoga may be practiced by different religions, but to do it systematically, to do a very systematic process yields the results that you really want. So there's 3 stages. Stage of rendering devotional service by practicing. You guys say we're not accustomed. So it's like someone riding a bike is not difficult. Riding a bicycle. But still, when we start off, we have training wheels. And then gradually we can get rid of the training wheels. So, the first stage of practice, we have training wheels. We're told, okay, these are the rules, these are regulations, rise early in the morning, attend the Maharaj, do this, do that. So, we follow these rules. The second stage of practice is already the rules are like second nature. And you try to rather render service in a better way. You're trying to give your best to have a better, say, your Mujari, priest. You're trying to do better deity worship. If you're a kirtan chanter, you want to chant better kirtan, go out all over Atlanta, go down Peach Tree, go down and chant Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
cook, our cook chair, we try their best to please the Lord, to please all the Lord's devotees. So we'll see how good they work. Of course, we don't call them anything now because we accept that the food offered to the Lord is a holy sacrament. It's sacred. So we just take it. Later we tell them, any advice we have. But they're trying. So this stage where you try to do your best, you actually work beyond your just the rules. That's what I call the Raga platform of practice. So then that leads when we're actually at the higher stages, you become you get a taste for swearing, you get attached, and you awaken your ecstatic love of the Lord, where you start to laugh, cry, faint, get hair standing on end, all kinds of emotional response to serving the Lord. So, but still, you're in a material consciousness, but you feel transcendental bliss. So it starts out from a hearing where you're 99% in material consciousness, 1% spiritual. Ends up in Bhava, where you're 99% Krishna conscious, 1% Maya. From there it comes to the pure love, then 100% Krishna conscious. So this process was given very clearly by Lord Caitanya and Nityananda. In fact, this process, even in India, is very rare. The pure devotees and or the sibling successions, they would practice this, but there are so many groups that frankly it's very hard to find out which one. So Lord Caitanya, he came to unite all the religions of the world, to begin a golden age of 10,000 years, where everyone would become, at least the majority, would become very much God conscious, very Krishna conscious, and there would be a whole change where people saw that just like material adjustment, you don't really achieve the happiness. Like in America, our founding fathers, they wrote that pursuit of happiness, but people were pursuing it, but not really got it. You know, the real happiness that we want, that we can get by serving a Supreme Personality of God. So, this was kept hidden from us. And Lord Caitanya 500 years ago, it's not long, when Christopher Columbus found the Americas, Lord Caitanya was about 6 years old. So, it's in the recorded histories. And he came and he gave this knowledge, he gave this science all over India. These are going to send them 500 years from now to the West. And he's going to give the Holy Name all over the world. So Prabhupada came 500 years ago. He came now. Lord Caitanya came 500 years ago. So, and Prabhupada went to every continent of the world. every continent, to Africa, to South America, to Asia, to Australasia, to Europe, to North America, everywhere. I met Srila Prabhupada in Montreal, Canada, and Prabhupada was such an amazing personality. He was like a little child in one sense. He was simple, but he was very profound, very deep. He was very spontaneous. One time he was saying, oh, there's a saying that you meet a very healthy person, and find out where he gets his vegetables. Where does he do his shopping? And then, well, it must be a good place. And just as he's walking out, there was a taxi driver. Thank God, I'm healthy. I didn't understand that. So, my Western, we say, slightly obese or overweight. Anyway, he said, I asked him, where did you do a shower? I asked him, he said, oh, I did supermarket. Like that, Prabhupada was very spontaneous. He said, he went to the Chicago airport, O'Hare airport. He said, why don't this Hari is there? It's the Krishna. Oh, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
And he said something else. Of course, they didn't entertain the request, but in that, on one sense, Prabhupada was very spontaneous. In other sense, he was very deep. He talked to our cardinals, he talked to professors, and he could communicate with all the great academicians and others. So he was trying to push this idea that life comes from life, that this idea of Darwin doesn't make any sense. Life comes from life, and that there's a supreme intelligence behind everything. So like this, he was on different levels, whether science, whether practical daily life. He was trying to reach everyone and establish this philosophy. He went to Russia. At that time it was the Soviet Union. He said, people here, in 20 years, they'll be no more Soviet Union. They'll be only Russia. So these people, they want spiritual freedom, but they're not getting it. And so today we have no more Soviet Union. In Russia, they tried to ban the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And they said, no, it's because it's as it is with the writer. But actually, what they didn't like was that Krishna, he was instructing Arjuna that by occupation, he was a prince, he was a general. So he said, right. Now, that's not wrong, and then they come to the world if they are in the army, you can't go AWOL, you can't run off. So there's nothing wrong with that. He said, your occupation is general. He said, right. And I didn't say, he didn't from running war or anything. So they tried to twist it, but ultimately that case was still out. So, I thank all of you also for your help. And the Indian Parliament, they were very active. They took exception. It doesn't make sense how some kind of material body like a judge can judge someone, say they judge that a libel is illegal. But it's not their capacity to say any religious book, Bible, Quran, Gita, are illegal. They don't have that intelligence. They can judge what is spiritual, what is not. So, like this, many battles to be fought. I was thinking how to make our festival of Panihati festival, which we have in June, how to make it more dynamic. And when I went tonight, I thought that some dramas in which everybody present, they got a part to play. I tried out in Brazil with the Rajasuya sacrifice, and everybody was either a king or a priest or a Pandava or someone. I just thought, Krishna, he had a part to everybody. And they played through the drama of Krishna's pastime. So, although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he plays different pastimes. That's his enjoyment. And how, like one time, he went with different great sages, avatars, like Vajra, Nyaste, and Vasishta, many rishis, priests, and he went to see two devotees in the same city. He split up into two, and somehow he allowed the rishis to also go two. So one of Krishna went to see the king, Baulasa, and one went to see, what's his name, Sutala? Huh? Sutari. So of course, a very poor brahman. So they observed how the king received Krishna. He gave him a royal seat, a royal reception, 56 preparations, Vola, paid the beat, under his head, and his ministers, wife, kids, like, all the audience, but all golden. And they went at the same time, saw this humble, poor Brahma, and they went to his house, and he was so happy that the Supreme Personality God came up to his house, and he bathed his wife poured the water, he bathed his feet, he bathed all the feet of the great sages. And at one point he was so happy, he was just jumping up and down. He was so happy. Haribo! And then he, what he do? He was just for Rama. So, his wife cooked rice, dal, sabji, simple. He gave that Krishna take, all the great sages took. So, but because it was all that in love, but Krishna enjoyed. So, a king offers his love, he may do a royal standard. And a simple Brahman, he offers his love, he does at his standard. So, if the king offers Krishna, Dalrai shall be, that won't be very nice. But the other step, the important man, he can offer Krishna golden plates and often 56 preparations. So whenever you're thirsty, Krishna sees what you give him, sees your devotion. So Bhakti Yoga read about the history of Krishna, read about his exchanges with his devotees. It's something that's very absorbing. It's very pleasant. In fact, at some point it's just ecstatic. And Krishna is so wonderful. He does such amazing things. Of course, for him, nothing is amazing. But for us, it's amazing. So I hope that all of you on your attending this Sunday feast, that you'll enjoy and you'll be inspired to practice Bhakti Yoga in your daily life. And you'll find that by this Bhakti Yoga, you get unlimited spiritual bliss. By material happiness, these senses, they give us some happiness. They also give us suffering. The same senses. Like now everyone's got their coats, shutters. But in June, it's hot weather. Nobody has coats, shutters. So the same thing that gives us, like right now we're not running air conditioning, but there's some who like to run air conditioning. So the same thing that gives us happiness, they also give us something. So, as by Bhakti Yoga, we try to regulate our material activities so that we don't get too much swayed, defeated from the path. We get enough happiness that we get peaceful. At the same time, we try to cultivate our spiritual taste, our spiritual bliss. And this is possible. The Lord Caitanya, Nityananda, they give us a process which is simply blissful. So I hope that all of you take it up, and many are long time practitioners. So by doing this, your example is very inspiring to others. Please try to make Lord Caitanya the most well-known. Actually, I came to some churches and gave seminars, gave sermons, and I found that many were shut down because they want to follow Jesus. He says, love God, but how to love? By teaching the Lord Caitanya's teaching, is very appreciative. One time I was in South American Coast Road, and one evangelist, he said, I'm a guru, you're a guru, I'll talk to your guru. So he moved everyone. He asked me some confidence question, guru, I tell you. I told him from Lord Caitanya's teaching. They're very happy. And then they were back in. About 3 or 6 months later I came. And he said, Guru, I want to speak to you. Alright. And we left. He had his white collar, he showed it. Behind he had this 2 CDs. I don't let my prayers go, but now I chant Hare Krishna.
Jai, Haribol, Hari.
So, we have this Krishna consciousness. We're trying now all over the world to also do a devotee care, to treat our devotees better, to the rare jewels of been sent by Krishna. We want to see that they get whatever we can provide and care, whatever, emotionally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, every respect. So, Thank you all very much. Are
Jai.
there any questions or comments? I may go over to the other house, and if you have later, if you want to say to me, you're welcome to come. Yes?
Yes. Well, thank you so very much for giving us your mercy here in Atlanta, all us devotees here in Atlanta. Thank you for your mercy. Coming to Atlanta.
Thank you for your worship.
Hare Krishna. Sita.
Was that? Thank you for your patience with here. Sure.
Hare Krishna.
So we want to give a big thank you to Maharaj for this wonderful He has to go to the next building because, it's a little tiresome for him, so we don't want to hold him too long. But we want to take a moment to introduce our Sunday feast sponsors so they can come forward and get a little mercy from Maharaj. Today's Sunday feast is sponsored by Urukram Das and his wife, Kalindi Sundari Devi Dasi. So if you can please come forward.
My wife probably
Cooking.
I will go there.
And tomorrow evening, Maharaj will be giving class here at the temple. What time? 7? 7 o'clock or so, he'll be giving class here in the temple, so please come. Urukram, come and get. Come. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for sponsoring the feast. Haribo! Haribo! Takes a mercy. Thank you very much, Haribo. And we have another sponsor in honor of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. Kamala Jayashri Devi Dasi and Vallavi Radhika Devi Dasi have sponsored the feast today as well. Please come forward. Jayashri Radhika. Please come quickly. There you are. Make way for them to come through. Haribo! Haribo! Thank you so much. Haribo! And just one last quick announcement. I got a phone call today about one of our devotees from our community, Dayal Hari Prabhu. Most of the devotees in Atlanta know him. He's one of the most dedicated book distributors we've had in the last 5 or 7 years. He's about 68 or 70 years old, but he goes on book distribution. He outdoes everybody. He's so fired up. But he's suffering from dehydration and total exhaustion, so he had to go to the hospital. So his wife called and asked if we would simply chant Hare Krishna for his speedy recovery. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Don't forget tomorrow evening, Maharaj will be giving class here around 7 p.m. RT is at 6:30. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
So he'll be available next door until 9:30? Mahaguna says 9, Maharaj says 9:30, 9:15. So at 5 o'clock tomorrow, here in the temple, all the disciples of Jayapataka Maharaj are going to gather together and talk about the glories of Maharaj. Please. You said.
Tomorrow, for all the God brothers and well wishers of Guru Maharaj, we're going to give some talk about some lila, some pastimes of Guru Maharaj in the temple room. So those who want to come and hear and get inspired are welcome.
What time?
Atlanta pastimes too, of course.
What time?
5 o'clock, temple room. Mahabaraha, myself.